Welcome back. Let's check your answers. So we left off with number 3. So we have the complete subject, and then my simple subject is someone. From the group is a prepositional phrase, so I know that cannot be my simple subject. Now, is someone singular or plural? Someone is singular. See the word one? Yeah? Someone, somebody, anyone, anybody, those are singular. So someone knows. Next one. Again, we have of many cousins. We have a prepositional phrase. And in my family, we have another prepositional phrase. So the only thing left is one. So that is my subject, my simple subject. One is clearly singular, so we use the singular verb lives. Number 5, again we have prepositional phrases of the people at that company. So those cannot be my simple subject. It has to be several. Is that singular or plural? It's plural, right? So I have my plural verb have. And finally we have student. We have a bunch of prepositional phrases, so we'll cross that off. Student is singular, so we need this S over here. Struggles. Okay, now we are going to start to look at some other parts of the sentence. We've just been focusing on subjects and verbs. Now we're going to look at objects and complements. So what is an object? Just like a subject, an object can only be a noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase. But we do have different types of objects. Just remember when you hear object, that always means after the verb, okay? So objects always come after the verb, but we do have 2 types. We have a direct object and an indirect object. In your sentence, if there is just one object after the verb, it's going to be a direct object. If there's only one, it has to be direct. So a direct object comes after an action verb. So you have to look at what type of verb you have. If it's an action verb, you might have an object. So a direct object talks about what or who about the verb. So for example, the man bought what? A car. Selena loves who? Her sister. Okay? So if you say subject verb what, subject verb who, and you can answer that question, it's going to be a direct object. The other kind of object is indirect. This only happens as a pair. You never find an indirect object alone. It will always be with a direct object, and it's always in the same order. Indirect first, and then direct. Okay? An indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. It's who is receiving the thing, many times. Okay? It's always a noun or pronoun. Objects are always nouns and pronouns. And like I said, you never see an indirect object alone without a direct object. They always come together. It answers the question to whom or for whom about the verb and the direct object. So that's kind of confusing, so just look at some examples and it's pretty clear. The man bought his wife a car. The man bought what? A car. So that's the direct object. The man bought a car for who or for whom? His wife. That's the indirect object. Okay, so notice I could take out his wife and you could just have the sentence like this. The man bought a car. That's the direct object. But if you want to say who did he buy it for, that's your indirect object, his wife. Okay, here her friends told her the news. So her friends told what? The news. That's your direct object. Then her friend told the news to who? Her. That's your indirect object. So the indirect object is almost always an object pronoun or a noun, right? Like his wife. Okay, so like I said, the easiest way is to look at a bunch of examples. So if you're feeling confused about direct and indirect objects, when we go through the examples, it'll become more clear. Okay? And the other thing we need to know is called a complement. A complement is a describing word. So just like an object, a complement comes after the verb. But in this case, complements can be adjectives. They can be adjectives or nouns, or noun phrases, or prepositional phrases. The thing that makes it a complement is that it comes after a linking verb. So remember that from our first few days in class, linking verb. The most common linking verb is be, right? Is, are, was. But you can go back and look at that list from your very first handout about the linking verbs. Okay? So here, he is a policeman. Here's our linking verb, is. Remember that an object only comes after an action verb. So if you have a linking verb right here, like is, then this is not an object. We call it a complement. Okay? Policeman is a noun, and it always has to be a noun, pronoun, adjective, or prepositional phrase. So that works. The next one, she feels angry. Do you remember feel? That's also a linking verb. So she feels angry. Here we have an adjective. This is our complement. And then we are at home. Again, we have a linking verb, and then our prepositional phrase is called our complement. So I made this chart to help make it a little bit more clear for you. When you are working on your subjects and your verbs, that's usually pretty easy, and then you get to the part after the verb. Is it an object or is it a complement? Here's a chart to help you remember the difference. Is it an action verb? So if it's an action verb, it's going to be an object. Is it a linking verb? If it's a linking verb, it's going to be a complement. Okay? Then, if there's only one object after an action verb, it has to be a direct object. If there's two objects after an action verb, it's indirect and then direct, always in that order. Okay? So come back to that chart a few times if you get confused and see if that can help clear up your problems. So we're going to do the first few together from practice 2. I'll leave the rest for your homework. So your job is to find the verb, decide if it's action or linking, and then label the direct object, indirect objects, complements. Actually, I'm going to have you not do prepositional phrases, so I'll take that out, that come after the verb. Okay, because remember, a complement can be a prepositional phrase. So, the team waiting on the bench. Let's fix that. The team was waiting on the bench for many hours. Okay, so here's our verb, was waiting. Is that verb going to be action or linking? It's action. Okay, so if it's an action verb, then if we have a noun or pronoun afterwards, it has to be an object. Do we have a noun or pronoun on the bench? Oh no, we have a prepositional phrase. An object can't be a prepositional phrase. An object can only be a noun or pronoun. Get the light back on. Okay, how about for many hours? Uh-oh, we have another prepositional phrase. Since that can't be an object, then we just have a subject and verb here. We don't have objects. So what kind of sentence is this? It's an SV sentence, we call it. subject, verb. There's no object and there's no complement because it's an action verb. Okay, next one. Students can help each other with their work. So where's my verb? Can help. What kind of verb is that? Again, we have action verb. So if it's an action verb, we're just looking for objects, right? So students can help what? Or students can help who? Each other. So right here, each other is a pronoun. You can go back to your list of pronouns if you forgot that, okay? Is it going to be a direct object or an indirect object? We know it's an object because it comes after an action verb, and we only have one object, so it has to be direct object. We don't have any other choice. And then, with their work is a PP, so it cannot be an object. So just keep remembering that prepositional phrases can't be subjects and they can't be objects. They can be complements. Okay. So let's see if we can find an example with a complement. There we go. Number 5. Mark became a lawyer in honor of his father. So here is our verb, became. What kind of verb? Action or linking? Linking. Become is on that list of linking verbs. If it's a linking verb, then we're not looking for objects, we're looking for complements. Okay? So a complement can be a noun, could be an adjective, could be a prepositional phrase, right? So here we have a lawyer right here. This is our complement. All right. Try the rest on your own. Find your verb. Is there a complement or is there an object? If it's an object, is it direct or is it indirect? Good luck, and we'll check your answers in class.